Good morning and welcome to 3CAD. Let's begin with this series of technical tutorials on the 3CAD products. Let's start to analyze on this tutorial the instruments used for the construction of the 3CAD program. They are instruments in common and they give the idea of what is the philosophy, the product base, and later allow to even understand how to modify or how to integrate the product with other instruments. 3CAD is a program created for Windows. We use different tools to write 3CAD based on our needs. In particular, the Microsoft SQL database, which we use to memorize all the management information, in reality great parts of the catalog characteristics, and for the orders management. The rules language is the language we use to create catalogs, customizations, prints, and jobs. It's a language we created that will be later analyzed in detail, which we have called rules. The graphic engine based on DirectX of our creation, based on an architecture derived from the video games, a very fast engine made for the real time. It doesn't have high quality characteristics because even on the real-time rendering, it favors speed to quality. It works on the graphic card, GPU. The possibility to extend 3CAD, this is one of the most important things for which a series of tools have been supplied to write extensions. A variety of formats and languages starting from the HTML and the rules language to end up on projects that may be realized in just about any language. About the Microsoft SQL Server. Speaking of versions, we may basically use every version from SQL 2000 to SQL 2012. The 2000 version has some limitations as it doesn't permit, for example, to write extensions in .NET, and even though favoring the Transact SQL as the base structure for writing the customizations, for example, the extended bill of materials written in .NET. Therefore, the maximum compatibility is obtained from the 2005 version and up. There isn't a big difference between versions for what is concerned the content of the database. We may only assert that there is a certain difficulty, for example, to transfer a database from the 2012 version to the 2008, or anyway a previous version. Therefore, some specific tools are required. For maintenance, some internal tools are used. One in particular is the 3cadEvolution for the catalog copies, but it would also allow to build or rebuild the database from zero using some files of our making, which are the DDF data definition files and SQL files with which we memorize the various store procedures such as standard extensions readable from SQL Server. A series of store procedures are disclosed inside the database. Our approach to the database is to write these functions using the Transact SQL language and leaving the content in the source format within the database. This allows the user to customize, for example, the standard price management that may be totally rewritten by a user that has the need of something different. They are supplied in the non-protected source format, therefore, in fact, open to any type of change as long as it remains in the logic of keeping unaltered the definitions of the functions and procedures. Rules language. The rules language is one of the pillars of 3CAD. Through the rules language, we write the catalogs, the print modules, some program extensions, jobs, generators, and else. The origin of the language was born from the need to have an instrument easy to the user to write or define the characteristics of an installer, argument which is very complex, and at the same time an open instrument. This is why the language approach was chosen. Anyway, not any language, but a language extremely limited in its characteristics to make it easier to teach and to transmit. In fact, it's a language that looks a lot like the C language processors. It's a language born with the idea of saying everything that is not part of the language, that is not a formula, is in fact already a final result. A series of interfaces have been built around this language, but we may say that the language is made of a few simple things: variable management, management of the fundamental cycle of if and if, micromanagement, or functions. Through this language, we have developed a series of things. We have extended it. We have added a few additional functions. It's even now possible to build, integrate languages with new functions, maintaining the standard characteristics and maintaining everything that is done. When this language is not enough, we may integrate with other languages. Then, with matters of normal use, the rules language is used for the extensions. The more complex things, the most particular things may be made with other languages, which may be the script languages, that may be designated to the most expert operators, which may even be functions written in a closed mode or the program's integrations. 3cad's graphic engine is based on DirectX. The DirectX technology was developed by Microsoft for video games. We have taken this engine and we have built around it the new CAD used by 3cad. It's a very fast engine. It's an engine that works on the GPUs, therefore it's not programmed into the computer, but it's programmed on the graphic card. It's an engine that responds to the latest technologies and to the newly developed 3D applications technologies. We use the 9.0 instead of the latest version to have more compatibility of the program with computers that are not actually new. Therefore, it doesn't normally require great characteristics for installation. Anyway, there is to say that it's necessary to have available a graphic card that has the shader 2.0 because the graphic engine is entirely programmed on a graphic card. More or less from 2002, every graphic card on the market was compatible with this standard. Today we speak of shader 4.0. We don't use this technology due to compatibility reasons. All the real-time instruments on the 3D real-time are based on this technology. Instead, for what is concerned for the rendering, we have alternative technologies. Some are local and not of great quality, others in remote using rendering farms. In any case, all of our graphic representations are made in such a way that it may be portable to other platforms. Therefore, a series of instruments exist to import, export three-dimensional files from and towards the external. In particular, our most used formats are 3D Studio, 3ds, X, and SketchUp formats, which are among the most used standards. It's not in fact used, or at least it's not used in its three-dimensional format DWG of AutoCAD, since it's a mixed format. It's an oversensitive format to have bidimensional and three-dimensional settings. It's always possible to even import and export from AutoCAD with a few gimmicks. Other file formats are supported as long as conversions are done towards these that are our formats, our main standards. 3CAD extension is one of the most important operations of the installer. To extend 3CAD means to create some applications and integrate them with 3CAD. Obviously, there are several levels of customization that may be done. Let's talk about the first one, which is the customization of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Many of 3CAD interfaces are written in HTML formats. The HTML is a free format. It's possible to edit it, modify these constructors, and have a different graphic representation from its own application, all the way to be able to rewrite at least some part of the fundamental parts, the program's entire interface. VBScript is the main tool for the customizations. When the program needs to take different paths, in reality it recalls within itself some functions that may be rewritten by a person or by whoever wants to perform customizations in VBScript. Other languages may be used after passing through VBScript, which are languages that even allow us to create extremely complex programs and integrate them into 3CAD, .NET, C++, VBE6, or other languages capable of supporting the required interfaces. Therefore, the extensions may be written in the DDL form. The integration with the DDLs are done through the VBScript. Even the same rules language allows to write some extensions. For example, some pretty simple things, but anyway useful, such as the prints that are for the most part written with dialects based on the rules language. Anyway, extendable so as to be able to use different tools, selecting on the database or processing on the database where a dialect based on the rules language is used. Other tools may be easily integrated. Suffice to simply decide through the VB script some sort of form of integration. It's possible, for example, by not only to integrate Excel, read and write data from and towards Excel with suitable DTLs. With this, we have finished the first part of the tutorial and we are ready to pass on to the second part.